Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Third Inning Podcast. I'm your host, Izzy. We are on Season 2, Episode 8. We have a lot to talk about. Crazy scores, wildfires, possible expansion to the league, and probably a lot else, like COVID-19, because that's all the world is about. No, not all it's about, but a lot of things in the world today are about that. So on my computer that I record this on, I use a microphone connected to the computer. The sound is looking very different. It's looking louder, which is really nice. It says it's from the USB advanced audio device instead of my Blue Snowball microphone, which is a USB thing. So I don't know what's up with that. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of the sound on this episode. Obviously, we're going to be here for like the next 15 minutes, so we'll see how it goes. I'm going to edit this before y'all even see it, so y'all will know, or I will know before y'all know, but still. We are going to go into our stats now. So we are starting with the hits of who has the most hits in each league. This is probably as of yesterday, the 12th. Because we do have games going on right now, so the stats may be impacted by that, so just always keep in mind that this is from the previous day. So we are starting with the AL because alphabetically that comes first. So Jose Abreu has the most hits in the AL with 60 hits, and he is on the Chicago White Sox. They seem to be a favorite team right now for some people. By that I mean by the TV networks, everybody, they are a team to watch, the White Sox and the Padres. So coming in at number 2 in the AL is Tim Anderson, who has 55, and he is also on that team in Chicago, the White Sox. So let's take it to the NL. Both are on the East Coast, but not the same team. We have Trey Turner with 64 hits, and he is on the Washington Nationals. And then we have Michael Conforto with 58 hits on the New York Mets. So it seems like you want to be in NL for hits. We talk about this every week of what league you would want to be in to get however many more or whatever. So we are going to go to stolen bases now. I'm totally going to screw up this guy's name, so apologies to him and apologies to Royals fans. The guy with the most stolen bases in the AL is on the Kansas City Royals, and that is Ada Alberto Mondesi, who has 16 stolen bases. And then I don't have a team for who this guy's on, but Manuel Margot has, it looks like he's on the Rays, has 11 stolen bases. So then in the NL, we have a tie for second, but we don't start with second. First becomes before second. So Trevor Story on the Colorado Rockies has 14 stolen bases, and Trey Turner once again getting mentioned. As I said before, he is on the team in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. He has 9 stolen bases, but he's tied with Fernando Tatis Jr., who also has 9, and he is on the San Diego Padres, the other team that is to have your eyes on right now. So time for strikeouts. The strikeouts don't really change that much through the weeks going through. So in the AL, we actually had our first pitcher to get 100 strikeouts this season, and that is Mr. Shane Bieber on the Cleveland Indians with 102 strikeouts. In my opinion, for the AL, I think he should be the Cy Young winner. I don't see anybody talking about him, but I talk about him on every episode of this podcast, it seems like. He's obviously doing something right in Cleveland. I have no idea what Cleveland's record or anything is right now, but this guy is getting strikeouts. He's doing something right. He's doing good. Shout out to Shane Bieber. And then in second, we have our man who got the first no-hitter pitched of the season, and that is Lucas Giolito, who has 82 strikeouts, and he plays once again, for the White Sox. So let's take it over to the NL, for who I'd probably say I would have being our Cy Young in the NL. I'm not really sure yet, but from what it seems like, I'm going to say Jacob deGrom. He has been a Cy Young winner before. He plays for the Mets, who are in New York City, and he has 79 strikeouts. And then take it a little south down 95, you have Aaron Nola on the Phillies with 77 strikeouts, so that's very close in the NL, just a 2-number difference. And then in the AL, it's a 20-number difference. So I'm going to say Shane Bieber is probably going to keep that being the one with the most strikeouts. So our next pitching stat is saves. So for the AL, Brad had, I don't think the name's right. I can't read what it says. He had 12 saves, and he is on the Indians, so that first place is tied with Liam Hendricks on the A's, who also has 12. In the NL, we're tied there as well with Mark Melancon on the Braves, who has 10, and Kenley Jansen on the Dodgers, who also has 10, even though he had a not so great game last night. Giving up 5 runs to the Astros in the last inning. That is not good, especially with it being the Astros. So, those are our stats. That was our first 6 minutes of the podcast. So, we are going to get into stuff that we are talking about this week. So, in the middle of the week, I was like, there's nothing to talk about. Nothing has really happened. Stuff has happened now. We have had some crazy scores this week. I think the craziest is the Braves got 29 runs against the Marlins in the middle of the week. The Marlins had 9 runs, which is still a lot, and the Braves had 29. Then we had a game with the Brewers. I'm confirming the score here. Brewers, I cannot type, and Tigers had a pretty insane game on the 9th. The Brewers won 19-0 in Detroit. And those teams at that, and they're playing right now when the Tigers are winning, so you never know what's going to happen. Or no, they can't be playing right now. Okay, yeah, that was the 8th. I don't know why it said right now, because we are going to be talking about the Brewers later, about the game they played today, and I was like, they're not playing right now in Detroit. They played another team today. So that, we were in 7 basically football scores. I guess it's in honor of the NFL being back this week, and that baseball just wanted to be like, hey, we can get those scores too. But to the people who say baseball is a boring sport, getting 29 runs in a game, how is that boring? I know that's not normal, but it's not a boring sport. If you think it's a boring sport, your mind's not that complex. No, I'm joking. It's not boring. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't know what else to tell you. So, if y'all were not aware, but I'm going to say from the United States, you're probably aware that there have been really bad wildfires out in the western portion of our country, in multiple different states. And y'all should see the pictures of the one that I saw that I thought was really whoa, was in Oakland at the Oakland Coliseum where the A's play, and they were playing the Astros that night. The Bay Area was just swarmed in smoke and haze and ash and soot, whatever. Soot, I don't remember how to say that. It was insane. And the skies are orange, it's really smoky, it's unhealthy to breathe. So I was kind of shocked that they were still having these games. I mean, I don't know what they would do. I'm just shocked that they were having games. So our cities that are really getting affected with the unhealthy air quality is Seattle, Oakland, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Denver, and Phoenix is an indoor stadium, so they're probably not getting any. But those are cities with MLB teams. So I'm just shocked they're playing in that. I don't really know what that can do to your lungs. I don't know, but they are playing in it, and it's just crazy seeing the sky like that. I've never seen anything like it. Like, I shared stuff on my Facebook. It's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. Well, my part of the country, we don't really have wildfires. We had one a few years ago, about 10 years ago, but it was nothing like what's happening out west. It's insane out there. So, speaking of California, the Giants were scheduled to play the Padres this weekend in San Diego, but the game just abruptly, right before everybody was in the dugouts, they're like, not playing. Apparently, players in the San Francisco Giants organization did test positive for COVID. They didn't say who, because obviously you can't do that unless you have permission, I guess, from the player, unless the player says it themselves, because there are laws for that in the United States, and I'm assuming in other countries there's laws for that as well. So that game got called off, so they're going to make it up at some point, because we are seeing a lot of double headers for things like this for COVID, and the double headers in 2020 are shortened games to only 7 innings. So instead of the usual 9, I do think 7's kind of a weird number. It should be 5 or 4, but I'm not MLB. I don't get to make the decisions. They don't ask me. I'm sorry. I know y'all probably want me to be commissioner, because anybody would be better than Manfred. But, yeah. So, I don't have COVID, I promise. Okay. I swallowed it wrong. But there was talk. This is what I was going to talk about if nothing happened in the week, but I'm still going to talk about it because it is news that happened. There are talks of expanding MLB. Obviously, there's always going to be these talks of, in any league, of expanding the league. We saw in the NHL recently, they got the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and the Seattle Kraken will be next season. And there's just, leagues are constantly adding teams, whatever. It's a common thing, obviously. So there are talks of expanding MLB and adding 2 more teams, one in the AL, one in the NL. And Justin Timberlake, yes, the singer, I think he's an actor too, but he is trying to get a team to come to Tennessee, which is where he's from. He's trying to get the team to go to Nashville. And I just want to know if y'all think Nashville is a good market for a baseball team. I feel like states like Tennessee and Louisiana are really awkward currently, because you are in Braves country, but you're also on the border. In Louisiana, you're on the border with Astros and Rangers. In Tennessee, you have the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Braves. And so obviously in Nashville, they have to, the TV rights and stuff, they would be competing with those other teams. So, do I think a team could come to Nashville? Yes, I do think it would make sense. They already have an NFL team and an NHL team, and I do think baseball would do good in the South. I feel like there's not really that many teams in the South, but I don't know. I mean, there's cities with like 2 teams, New York, Chicago, LA. I don't really consider them in the same city, even though the Angels have Los Angeles in the name. It took me like 2 hours to drive from Anaheim to LA. They shouldn't have LA in the name. It's just for marketing purposes. So, I don't know. So Nashville is an option. Charlotte is another option, which, yes, obviously I would really like that, because the closest team to me is the Braves, and that is a 4.5-hour drive to Truist Park. I almost called it by their old name, so I don't even know if how I said it's right. I would really like a team to be closer to me. I would like a team in Charlotte to be in the AL, because the closest AL team is Baltimore, which is a good 7-hour drive. And I do go to Baltimore. I was going every season, but obviously not this season, to catch some AL games up there. So I would like a team to come to Charlotte, but so again, In Charlotte, you are dealing with Braves country, and I do see people wearing Tampa stuff a lot around here, but I don't know if those people are actually fans of Tampa or not. So I think in Charlotte, your only real marketing concern would be against the Braves, and I feel like in these areas, Nashville and Charlotte, these people are only going to be Braves fans. Like, I don't know, like in Brooklyn, you still see people who are still Dodger fans. I just feel like the Braves are such an iconic organization that it's really hard to compete with. So another city that I think would be a good place to have a team is Indianapolis. Again, you do have your Ohio teams and then your Chicago teams all up in there, but I do think Indianapolis can make a good city, as they do have NFL, NBA, and yeah, they have those two. And then people were talking about having one in Portland. Portland, you do have the opera. There's a lot of room in between Oakland and Seattle. And then another one is Vancouver. I don't know how baseball would fare in Vancouver. Basketball didn't fare too well there. Like in the 90s, I think that was. In 2000s, they moved to Memphis. And again, it's very close to Seattle. But that doesn't seem to matter, does it, if teams are near other teams. And I do think Montreal could get a team back one day. So you may be like, wait, Izzy, the Expos didn't do well there. They moved to DC, and they seem to be doing well in DC. Yeah, they got a championship. But they had some preseason exhibition games, whatever, in Montreal last season, and it's sold out. The games there are sold out, but that's only 3 or 4 days, whatever. Could they do that, selling out for 100 and something games? Could they get people in those seats? So, because people could just be like, oh, there's a baseball game here. It's really random. Let's go, because we don't usually have that here. I don't know if Montreal could sell, but it did for those exhibition games. Could they get a team there? I think it is potentially. They have a stadium. So, I mean, they don't have to worry about building a brand new stadium. And as I said, they did have those exhibition games there. So, maybe they could get a team back. Who knows? I don't know. I would think it'd be cool to have another team in Canada. I mean, I think having a team in Puerto Rico would even be cool because so many players come from there. And it is a U.S. territory, so it could happen. You never know. But I do think Puerto Rico would be a cool place to have a team. So, that is all for our expansion discussion. So, we did have a no-hitter today. The Cubs pitched a no-hitter against one of their rivals, the Milwaukee Brew Crew Brewers. So, good for you, Cubs. Go, Cubs, go, whatever. But that is all for the Third Inning podcast this week for Season 2, Episode 8. I hope you guys enjoyed, and you can tune back in on September 27th for the next episode. For Episode 9, it'll be around out in about the 10 or 11 o'clock hour East Coast Standard Time. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you want to be one of the first to know when the podcast goes live, ring that notification bell. For whom the bell is tolled, they toll for me. If you hit that notification bell, it'd be awesome if you could do that. And I will see you guys on the 27th with episode 9. Bye.